live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, hey, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, 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 we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
All right, so we're on to our mental health moment. It was going to be an On to the Real, but Stephanie Johnson, shout out to Stephanie at Navy Psych on Instagram for sending me this story about Harry Miller, who is a former Ohio State football player. And he shared his truth about his struggles with depression and suicidal ideation on the Today Show, Monday, I believe it was. And when I tell you the same heavy crying thoughts I had when I watched Michael Beasley, I had watching this young man tell his story, because he even spoke about being 8 years old and telling his mother that he was having these kinds of thoughts. But because he clearly was on a path, I guess, to be a football player, to be a successful football player, it was just kind of the suck it up kind of thing. Like, why would you want to kill yourself? Look at what you got in front of you. But the young man literally has scars on his wrist and his neck from attempting to commit suicide on multiple occasions. And he just got to the point in 2020, I believe it was, where it was just, he couldn't fake, so he was able, from all this time of his life, to just use football as kind of that thing that kept him from making that decision, basically, for really doing it. And in 2020, he said it wasn't enough anymore. And he went to his coach, the head coach, and told him that he had thought about killing himself, ending his life. And the coach got him some help. So thank you. I think, what's his name? Ray, Coach Ray? I think it's his name. I can't think of his name. But he got him the help that he needed. And he said he had to share his story because he felt like it was necessary for other people to know they're not alone. And that there are options other than suicide.
And it was, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And the ironic part of this is he did this like 9 days after Katie Myers committed suicide.
It's ironic that this story came out, well, for me, because I was looking at this report on 11 Alive, the news channel down here, or one of the news channels down here, and there has been an uptick in, adolescent suicide.
Absolutely.
From, young boys who are as young as 7. And I'm like, they haven't even begun to live life yet. Like, it's hard for me to understand.
It's real.
Fathom, but it's real.
He was 8. He was 8, and this is how he felt. Like, yeah, it's real. And some of it's chemical imbalance. You know what I mean? Some of it is that some of these babies just need some meds, probably, But the other part of it is, we think because they're kids, it doesn't matter, but they grow up to be adults. So if we don't give them the support they need, whether that be therapy or medicine or whatever, while they're young, they grow up and it's a cycle now. Or if they even make it to grow up, right? Because at some point it just becomes overwhelming and too much if they're not dealing with it. It has to be dealt with, is my point. It can't just be, you can't just say, suck it up. I mean, I don't know that that's what his mom said. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that that's the sense I get, that it was just like, oh, you know, you play football, you'll be all right, because that's what we hear. Or you play sport, you're good. And this is always my thing, and why we do this in the first place is because I feel like somewhere, and anybody who tuned into the live with Stephanie and myself on Tuesday, we talked about a little bit about this, but there's this idea that athletes have it all together. Because they get to do what they love, or especially when they get to the pro level, they're making money, they're fame. There's all this stuff that's involved with it, and they think that they'll have it all together, but there's still a human being behind all of that stuff that might have experienced some trauma as a child, or didn't grow up in the best circumstances, or did not have the support they needed when they were struggling from a young age. So I have such a problem with that mindset that, I mean, I hear people say, why is it that it's athletes that you have such a passion for? This is why. This is why.
Right.
So anyway.
Nah, this, you know, this story is definitely touching, you know what I'm saying? And it's necessary, you know, because we continue to see, you know, folks commit suicide, and it's important for, if you're feeling that way, because we all, like, now I won't say all of us, but we're walking around here dealing with the things that we're dealing with, and some of it may be pride, but some of it is a thing of like, okay, we don't want to burden anybody with the things that we're going on, or even
everybody got something going on. Why would I bother them? Yeah.
Right. And so it's important to know, like, yo, there's somebody who is having the same thoughts and dealing with the same types of things that I am. So shout out to Harry for
and I'm praying for Harry.
Yeah.
Because he's in a fight for his life.
Yeah.
You can see it. If anybody, y'all just go Google Harry Miller Today Show and look at that baby's face. He's in the fight for his life right now.
Yeah.
So I'm praying. Yeah.
All right. Feel good final thought.
All right.
Now this was this was a good one to see.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and it was redemptive.
Yes.
Touching and redemptive. Yes. You know, I think a few weeks ago when people saw what happened between Juwan Howard and the coach for Wisconsin. If you aren't familiar with Juwan Howard, you may have labeled him a certain way based off of what happened. But what we saw right here is the Juwan Howard, the people who know him speak about, you know, and even if you don't know him all that well, you aren't in this inner circle, you kind of only see him from afar. Like, this is who you believe him to be. So to see him, I
said absolutely.
Yeah. To see him consoling the young man from Tennessee after Michigan pulled off the upset to beat Tennessee in the tournament last week, it was heartwarming, you know.
Oh my God. It just did something to my soul.
Yeah.
Like we do these and I'm always like, oh, it's the eyeball sweater. It did something to my soul because you said it so perfectly, bro. This is Juwan Howard.
Yeah.
Even the one we saw with Wisconsin is the same person. It's the passion that he has for the love of not just the game, the kids. Yeah. And he was defending with all of his might what he thought, even in that moment when he made those horrible decisions.
Yeah.
It was still out of that same passion and love that we saw with this particular situation. He don't care if you play for him or you don't. He gonna love on y'all because that's what his passion is in this.
Right.
And I just love that. I mean, who doesn't want that kind of coach? I'm just saying.
Exactly.
I'm good. You gonna go to bat for me, and you'll hug me up, and you'll hug up our opponents. I'm here for it.
That's why I think I hope he eventually wins a championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves it. He's done his due diligence to be in this position. So Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a good one.
All right, show picks.
All right.
What you watching?
I got two. I didn't put the other on here, but I got two movies real quick. The first one, A Boy, a Girl, and a Boy, a Girl, a Dream.
Okay.
This was Megan Good and Omari Hardwick.
Okay. I think I heard about
and it was a movie about what it was like to be African American in America after Donald Trump won the presidency.
So is it like a movie or a documentary?
No, it's a movie.
Okay.
It feels very documentary in the way that they filmed it.
Okay.
But it's a movie.
Okay.
They're two strangers. They meet in LA that night when the election took place, and they literally are with each other the whole night as things progress. It is amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I definitely have to check that one out.
Oh my God, it was so good. And the other one was The Nomads with Tika Sumpter.
Okay. I love Tika Sumpter, so I definitely got.
You haven't said, okay, so this is about it's a true story about, I think, North Philly.
Okay.
It's a North Philadelphia high school she comes to work at after they've consolidated 3 high schools into one. And she comes to work there, but she's a former rugby player in college.
Yeah.
And she brings rugby to this Philly team. And so
yeah,
they still today have a rugby team and 100% graduation rate with that team.
Philly got all the good sports stories.
So yeah.
They had Pride, the swim team.
Right.
Oh man.
So that's a good one.
Okay. So the Vince.
Oh geez.
I was thinking about another Philly story.
Okay.
Vince Papale, the movie Invincible.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Was it Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Played it.
Yep. Yeah.
So I've been watching the Bill Cosby documentary.
Okay. Who put it together? I'm sorry.
What is his name? He's a comedian.
Interesting.
What is his name? I can't think of his name. He shot.
Is he old or young?
Middle age. It's gonna come to me in a second, but
not Robert Townsend.
No. This not. Nah,
he old.
Huh?
You said you might think he old. You might think he
old. But in looking at it, it's one of those things where like you hear the testimony, and some of this stuff just to me feels I just don't know. Like it feels like the swing of a narrative and it's only one-sided. Now I'm watching it because I do want to hear what's being said, but it feels very one-sided and it feels like more of the same, just kind of a pile on. But W. Kamau Bell is who did it.
Okay. All right. I might watch it. Okay.
But yeah, that's all I got for that. Like,
you got to see it for yourself.
Yeah, you got to see it for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, Steph, we are at the end of another one, episode 154. It's crazy because I came back at 150 and it don't even feel like there's been that many episodes.
Yeah, it don't take long.
Yeah.
Clearly, we're already into 150, so it don't take long.
But we appreciate you guys for certainly joining us, whether that be via YouTube or through whatever digital streaming platform for the podcast. If you want to reach out to us, we encourage you to reach out to us. You can email us at field2therealpodcast@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at field2therealp1, on IG, field2therealpodcast, and on Facebook, Field to the Real Podcast, no number for that one, right there behind Stephanie's head. And it's the same thing for our YouTube page. we appreciate for you guys to reach out. Go to our YouTube page, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good jazz. But
Sure.
this is episode 154 of the Field to the Real podcast, and we are out. Peace.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.